Welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports and another edition of Industry News. Now, this is a somber topic, and I will have to read quite a bit of it because I want to make sure I get it right. I'm quoting an article, and I don't want to mess that up because there's lawsuits and there's death involved, and I just want to make sure I get it right. So please allow me to do that. This is about e-bikes. This is about kids on e-bikes. We're talking 12, 11 years old. We're talking really young kids riding e-bikes. Now, I had this discussion tentatively or over the surface with my riding partners the other day. And I mentioned to them that there's a certain amount of time that it takes us as bike riders to be able to ride consistently at a high rate of speed. Let me explain what I mean by that. When you first get your bike, let's say you're an adult, you're 20-something, 30-something, you get on your bike, you start riding. When you very first start riding, you can't average more than 15, 16 miles an hour for a ride, 20-mile, 30-mile ride. You have to earn those miles per hour or kilometers. And so as you are getting up to speed, as they say, you are gaining those skills. You now are averaging 15, 16, 17 miles an hour. You know how to avoid a crack or a pothole or whatever, stopping in time, anticipating how much distance you need to stop before a traffic signal, a car door, or any type of hazard. But when you're 11 years old, 12 years old, and you get on an e-bike that can go 20 miles an hour and weigh 60 pounds, probably half of your weight, if not more, have you earned those riding skills yet to be able to ride at 20 miles an hour, right? So that's one topic, and we can discuss that at another time. But let's go to this particular case. So back in January 31st of 2021, Molly was riding behind an 11-year-old best friend who was operating this Rad Runner e-bike, which can accommodate a passenger. While descending a steep hill, which the lawsuit says the two girls would not have been able to ascend on a traditional bike, the e-bike began to shake and wobble, causing the bike to crash. So, again, the access to more challenging terrain because you have an e-bike that allows you to get up that hill, and what goes up must come down. So if you now have a 250 watt motor or more and you are climbing a hill, you probably physically would not be able to get up that hill on your own, and especially towing a passenger. Now you have to go down the other side, typically speaking, or if it's a dead-end climb, well, you still have to come down, right? Because it's a dead-end climb, you have to come back down. So the skill, the time and experience, the miles on your legs, kilometers on your legs, that allow you to climb that hill are what's going to provide, because you've climbed other hills in the previous months or years, allows you to safely descend that hill. You're 11 years old, and I know phenom athletes at 11, but let's just say that we don't have that skill level developed, right? Okay. So Molly was unconscious and taken to Ronald Reagan Hospital in UCLA Medical Center. After several brain surgeries, she never regained consciousness and died February 15th. So this is about a 2-week window. So now Rad Bikes is being sued And so is Giro, the helmet company, because they're saying, well, this helmet cracked and didn't protect her head properly. So I know you have seen kids, or I see it here. They have a helmet on, but it's not strapped. So it's almost like, what's the point of that? But, you know, from afar, they're within the legal thing. I think 18 years old you still have to wear a helmet. So let's go back to this. So the lawsuit is filed in Los Angeles Superior Court. And this is an interesting angle. The lawsuit filed in LA Superior Court by the parents, Jonathan and Kay, asks for a jury trial that will determine damages, says that Rad Power markets its e-bikes to children without adequate warnings. In addition, design defects on the Rad Runner e-bike that their daughter Molly was a passenger on contributed to the accident, and so on and so forth. So now they're saying that Rad Power is marketing these bikes to kids, and so that's their angle for the lawsuit, along with the design defects. I mean, I don't know. Are the parents negligent? How did they... And look, I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm not a legal analyst, but, you know... But here's the thing. They live in Los Angeles. We live here in San Marcos. We just have a lot of steep hills. And, I mean, the hills here for just regular busy streets, 6, 7, 8% grades. I mean, it is not uncommon to see that here. If you're in the neighborhoods, you've got double-digit grades, and that's where people live, and that's where these kids will live and commute back and forth. I mean, the middle school, the local middle school here is at the top of a 3-mile climb that averages over 6%. And then the other side is 8-9%. So if you go on this side of the hill, it's like three miles. You go on this side, it's like 1.5 miles because it's much steeper. And the kids are commuting back and forth on e-bikes. And if you got a 60-pound bike, you know, of course the governor helps keep that speed down, I guess. I don't know. 20 miles per hour max. But then there's other bikes that I think they're 28 miles per hour is the other category. I mean, I'm an athlete. I have wanted my son to always pedal his bike. He doesn't have an e-bike. Actually, he's going to be 18 in another month. But yeah, I mean, an e-bike was never in the conversation. You want to ride a bike, you pedal it. But you know, I see these parents buying their kids e-bikes, and Rad Power is a very popular bike in this area. They're based out of Seattle, but they do have a service center in Imperial Beach. So Imperial Beach from San Diego is probably, I don't know, 45, 50 miles. I'm just taking a guess. So they have a presence here in Southern California. Anyway, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Is this something, I mean, in my opinion, this is something where this is not going to be an isolated incident. Is there a safety class that we can start offering kids in school to ride e-bikes? Do we take it upon ourselves in the private sector to offer safety classes for kids on e-bike? I'd like to hear some ideas. Please make some comments down below. While this is tragic, and as a parent, I could not fathom the loss of my child, I honestly don't have a solution for this. And so I'd like to hear from the general public. Anyway, that's all for today. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you up the road.